When people are faced with the terror that is reality, our strongest weapon against it is the powerful art of escapism. Rather it be from a book, some music, a movie, or an art piece, it allows us to forget our troubles from the real world and enter a new one unlike any we've ever seen. If you ask me, there's no better way to escape reality than with the medium of animation, where it's pretty much experiencing art coming to life. However, like everything else, it often feels the need to bring in real political or social issues in order to tell their stories, which often causes reality to mix with the subject of escapism and result in nothing but chaos. Now for this top 10, I am counting anything and everything that is animated. Rather it be a movie, a TV show, a single episode, a short, or even a cartoon, as long as it's something that people are afraid of to even mention because of the trouble it caused, it will find its way on the list. Oh, and by the way, what you're about to see will be considered highly offensive. But let's be honest, that's exactly why you came here. I'm Animat, and this is the top 10 controversial cartoons.
Barely even human! Savages! Drive them from our shore! They're not like you and me, which means they must be evil. We must sound the drums of war!
Now let's start this off with a man that loves implementing social issues in his movies and actually does it right, Ralph Bakshi. Say what you will about good old Ralph, but the one thing you cannot deny about him is that he made films unlike any other mainstream animated feature, even to this day. This is thanks to his signature theme of commentary on social issues in a ghetto environment filled with alcohol, sex, and drugs, all presented in his highly acclaimed films like Fritz the Cat, American Pop, and Heavy Traffic. At the most, he got some dirty looks by creating them, but the movies themselves are still well praised and do have some historical significance in animation. It wasn't until Coonskin when he really crossed the line and committed the crime, alleged racism. During the time the movie was ready to be released, the Congress of Racial Equality, or the CORE for short, was completely offended over the film by deeming it racist and went picketing and rioting at both Bakshi and the film in the theater while it was playing. Even activist Al Sharpton was prepared with his goons to go and attack Ralph during a screening.
Look, I done heard enough, man, and I think I'll say so.
But here's the funny thing about all this. The crime I said that the movie committed was alleged racism. The reason why I say that is because, in actuality, Coonskin has nothing to do with racism. Yeah, despite all the protest and rioting, nobody from the Corps had actually ever seen the film in the first place. At the most, there was maybe one guy who might have read parts of the script, but that's it. If you have actually seen Coonskin, you'll discover that it's actually a commentary on the oppression and corruption that's going on in Harlem, all told in a very engaging story that's loosely based on the tales of Uncle Remus. But I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, a controversial animated feature based on the stories of Uncle Remus? Doesn't that sound a bit like, yes, I know what it sounds like. I'll get to that one later, I promise. However, you might notice from the clips that some of the characters are wearing blackface, so there must be some sense of racism, right? Not even. This is something that Ralph sometimes does in his films to not enforce the stereotype, but instead to mock it. But even with that, it won't stop the Corps from protesting the film from being quote-unquote racist, picketing movie theaters, rioting Paramount to pull out the movie from their name, which they did, even going as far as throwing smoke bomb in theaters playing the film. Sure, it's not high enough on the list because it didn't actually commit the crime, but just the crazy reactions alone deserve to be mentioned on the list. Coonskin, where Brother Rabbit faces crooked cops, the mafia, and worst of all, activists with prejudice.
Why didn't you tell me?
Damn, I know there was something I forgot to do.
Bet your sweet ass is something you forgot.
Savages! Barely even human!
Hey, Chris, there's this show that's on my list that I'm gonna be talking about, and it would really help if I'm able to say this word, if, to explain and talk about the show. So, can I get a pass to say the N-word this one time?
Not really.
Alright, thanks anyways. Like Huey and Riley themselves, the Boondocks have always been known to be causing trouble since the original 1999 comic strips. So there's no big surprise to hear that when they announced that they were planning to make a TV series out of it in 2005, already there was massive outrage about it. But the reason for the outrage is not exactly what you'd think. It's not the fact that there's a Boondocks show that would piss the public off. The real reason why it was such an issue is because of the crime it would frequently commit in the past: heavy use of the N-word. I think we all know at this point about the controversy surrounding this word. The context, who's allowed to say it, when it can be said, the list goes on. Just the fact that a show would not only use it frequently, but have it completely uncensored would immediately spark controversy. This is why the creator of the Boondocks, Aaron McGruder, said that he just hopes to expand the dialogue and hope the show will challenge people to think about things they wouldn't normally think about, or think about it in a very different way. And basically, that's pretty much what happened. Adult Swim allowed it to be uncensored, and they do not shy away in the language department in order to let the true nature of the characters, the story, and the message of each episode to fully bloom. In fact, there was even one episode where they had Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. say the word.
And I know some of you don't want to hear me say that word. It's the ugliest word in the English language. But that's what I see now.
And trust me, those people who made that episode got what they deserved for portraying Dr. King like that. A Peabody Award. Yeah, they actually won the award for using bold satire to remind us how we have strayed from the aims of the movement led by Dr. King. Gotta at least give them some props for it. But the crimes don't end there. There are some notable episodes where the boys find themselves in all different kinds of trouble, including 2 of them where they commit the next crime, criticizing a TV channel. You see, the Boondocks have this one certain running gag that they love using, and that's the statement that the channel, Black Entertainment Television, or BET, sucks. But in the episode, The Hunger Strike and the Uncle Ruckus reality show, they just go all out saying that BET is an evil corporation, hell-bent on the destruction of black people through idiotic TV programming. What happened was that the episodes were banned from TV, but later went to the public on the DVD set of Season 2. You'd think that BET were responsible for this, but it turns out that it was their parent company, Viacom, who demanded the takedown. Oh, look at that. Viacom is taking down content that's none of their business. Never heard that one before. I mean, I'm just a simple YouTuber. But wait, there's more! Another notable controversial episode is Pause, where they go and commit the crime, criticizing a celebrity by satire. In here, Robert gets to be in a play by Winston Jerome, a famous cross-dressing actor, writer, director, and producer who's hiding the fact that he's gay with his tremendous love for Jesus. And can you guess which actor they're making fun of here?
Now wait just one cotton-picking minute. Who this?
Yep, none other than Medea himself, Tyler Perry. Although that no official word came from Perry himself, it was reported that he was filled with so much rage that he had to unleash it and ended up leaving a big mess all over the place.
No homo.
But with all the madness that Boondocks left in its way, it shows us exactly what happens when you leave a series in the hands of a crazy nigga.
Barely even human.
When you're over the top, the most important rule to remember is not to go too over, or else you'll fall flat on your face. Back in the early 90s, Ren and Stimpy was one of those groundbreaking shows that set new rules for plenty of animated series to come. You couldn't find any other show that was this random, this off the wall, this insane, yet this lovable at the same time. But then came the episode Man's Best Friend, where they pushed things a little too far, even by the show standards. On the surface, it seems like your average Ren and Stimpy episode, where one of the recurring characters, George Liquor, decided to adopt the duo and train them military style to become a true pet worthy of the name Liquor. And when they're good, they get a cigar as a reward. So far, everything seems to be fine for the episode. Cute premise, pushes the envelope, everything you'd expect from Ren and Stimpy. It wasn't until one part when Ren finally snapped and goes all out on George to commit the crime, brutal violence.
It's discipline that begets love. Ouch!
After Nickelodeon saw the episode, the company immediately pulled it out to make sure they would never air it on their channel again. But it doesn't end there. They even went as far as firing series creator John Kricfalusi and his company Spumco from Nick, leaving the show in the hands of Games Animation. As for the episode itself, it wouldn't be until about a decade later when it would finally see itself on TV as the unofficial first episode of the Ren and Stimpy Show adult party cartoon. Now, getting an episode pulled out of TV for a long time is one thing, but also getting fired from your own creation for that same episode just adds another layer to how badly you screwed up. Man's Best Friend, the episode where it's not just George Liquor who took a good beating. I'm sure for Disney, 10,000 complaints can be such a crick in the neck.
I don't think you quite realize what you've got here. So why don't you just ruminate whilst I illuminate the possibilities?
I'm sure that some of you are probably shocked to find that such a beloved Disney classic like Aladdin turns out to be a controversial piece of animation. Now, you may think that it's on the list because of the whole good teenagers take off your clothes bit, since it resulted Disney to cut it out from later releases, but that's not the reason why it's on the list. Besides, it has been proven again and again that the actual line uttered was "good tiger, take off and go," and that good teenagers thing is just not true at all. But even if the movie is innocent on that part, not even Aladdin himself can get away from committing this crime: racism. Subject: Arabs. The first instance you'll find the movie poking fun at Arabs would be right at the beginning with the song Arabian Nights, where it uses this line to describe the Arabian people.
Where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home.
This has sparked big protests from the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee and forced Disney to take down that line. Ever since then, any later releases of the movie or the soundtrack would replace the line with this, provided by obviously not the original singer.
Where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense.
It's barbaric, but hey, it's home.
But that's not the only part where the committee called out discrimination on Aladdin. The other part where the Arabs got offended is actually the rest of the film and right in front of your faces. To be more specific, it's the way that the characters are portrayed, showing a bit of some white supremacy. Confused? Allow me to explain. When you look at the good guys like Aladdin and Jasmine, they have a lighter skin tone, look beautiful, and clearly speak with an American accent. But with Jafar and the extras, they're given a darker skin, a very thick accent, and a pretty grotesque look. This was something that the directors definitely noted to correct later on when they made The Princess and the Frog. However, unlike the Arabian Nights line, Disney can't really do some quick change-ups here since that's pretty much the entire movie. The only thing they could say to the committee is just, "Oopsie! We'll remember to have more excellent judgment the next time we try to represent another race other than white."
Oh, excellent, Judge. Yeah, sure. Not
You may find it pretty crazy here, where they protest out loud when they don't like this film. It's barbaric, but hey, it's Aladdin!
Jeez, where'd you dig this bozo up?
Barely even human.
How ironic is it where the show that asked, but where are those good old-fashioned values, is probably the last place you'd ever find it. Ah yes, what can I say about Family Guy? It's just one of those shows that no matter who you are, what you believe, or how you think, the Griffins and the gang will always find a way to somehow offend you and push things too far. In this case, there was one person that was completely offended by one episode, and she wanted the whole world to know that Seth MacFarlane has messed with the wrong woman by committing the crime, mocking the disabled. Subject, a politician's son. In the episode, Extra Large Medium, Chris asked a girl out on a date and Stewie is helping him out to get ready. But there's just one big catch. The girl, Ellen, has Down syndrome, which gave the writers plenty of material to work with, including this one little joke.
My dad's an accountant, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska.
In case you didn't get it and have no knowledge in politics, she is of course referring to Sarah Palin. When Palin heard the joke, she was completely enraged, not because of the way they put her in the show, but because she interpreted it as an attack on her son Trig, who actually has Down syndrome.
There's something up with her, isn't there?
Sarah would go all around the media and slam the Family Guy crew for being completely insensitive to both her and her family. Now, the team behind Family Guy would try to defend themselves and calm Palin down, but the true savior of the episode is actually another person with Down syndrome, the voice of Ellen herself. When the press would go and ask Andrea Faye Freeman about her take on the situation, she said, and I quote, "My parents raised me to have a sense of humor and to live a normal life. My mother did not carry me around under her arm like a loaf of French bread the way former Governor Palin carries her son Trig around looking for sympathy and votes." Of course, this wasn't the only instance where Family Guy was in the center of controversy, but it was the episode Extra Large Medium that really took the cake. However, for this list, it was actually a really close decision between that episode and another one called When You Wish Upon a Weinstein. In that episode, Peter is trying to find a way to keep the family financially stable. So what does he do? Hire a Jew, of course, since they're usually good with money. Not only that, but why not have the family be permanently financially great by turning Chris into a Jew? Because that's how money works, right? As you can tell, the episode is filled with anti-Semitic jokes, and the crew even got sued by the Bourne Company for parodying When You Wish Upon a Star. At the end of that court case, Family Guy actually ended up winning the trial because, as tasteless as it sounds, it's still a parody and it is fair use. But with all the madness and rage that sparked from Extra Large Medium, if you ask Stewie, it was all worth it for that one reason.
You must impress that effervescing, self-possessing, no BSing Down syndrome girl.
Barely even human.
But if you think pissing off a politician is bad, try enraging an entire government. Since the show has been on TV for more than 25 years, there has to be at least one moment where the Simpsons found themselves in major trouble, and that's where the episode Blame It on Lisa comes in, where the Simpsons go on a trip to Brazil to find an orphan boy Lisa was sponsoring called Ronaldo. The Simpsons would usually have a good track record with their humor by not pushing things too far. But with this instance, that's exactly what they did when they ended up committing the crime, racism. Subject, Brazilians. The show has already represented other nations in a way that's dumb, but we all know it's just fun and games. With the Brazilians though, they were somehow pretty mean-spirited. depicting them as either thieves or kidnappers that all live in brightly colored slums with anacondas that can eat you whole and love nothing more than to dance in Carnival.
Don't be sad, it's Carnival!
When the Brazilian government noticed this episode, they were horrified, fearing that this would completely scare off tourists from ever visiting Rio de Janeiro. So they decided to take action and threatened to sue Fox for the episode. At that point, the tables were completely turned, and now the people at Fox are in fear of this, sending out Simpsons producer James L. Brooks to offer an apology. As for Fox, I'm pretty sure they learned never to mess with Brazil. Hey, guys! Hey, no hard feelings for that little slip up on The Simpsons, right? Hey, you know, I always loved going to Rio de Janeiro, you know, the great food, the amazing beaches, the Carnival is fantastic, the great people, oh, it's just a great place, you know? Hey, you know what? Why not have an entire animated feature on us? Or, you know, even better yet, why not two? Just to show how great you guys are, eh? Please don't kidnap us. The funny thing about this whole debacle is that all you have to do is just do what the title says.
I'll just dance and worry at the same time.